They say that true love never dies. I remember that time you came to see me play cricket. You were 16 and I was maybe 17. Yes, I was 17. You cycled there wearing that ridiculously short skirt. You leaned over your handlebars so that your loose top gaped, showing your... Both teams stared. You knew that, didn't you? We made love on the front of my VW Beetle. It was too cramped inside and we were feeling daring. Your parents didn't want us to marry, but we did. They accepted me eventually. And then you were pregnant. He was so... Everything changed. Those midnight feeding and watching him sleep. And remember that time he smeared his pooey nappy all over the place while we slept. Saturday mornings at the Little Athletics. Then we moved to the UK. That was really hard on you. Remember that fortune teller? She said so many things that came to pass. One thing that I recall was she said she couldn't see us lasting after a major event. She wasn't very clear, but I think I know what it is now. I see you with him. I see you walking and talking and eating and sleeping with him every day. I hate him. You're mine. I want to kill him. No, I don't want to kill him. I just want you back. If it wasn't for the accident, we'd still be together, happy. But I know that's impossible now, isn't it? I know that. I died in that fire. I was 4 years old and my mum gave my sister some money and she said we could go down the shops and buy some lollies. So off we went, and and I love my big sister. She was amazing to me, and she held my hand and we walked, and it was a bit of a walk. I don't know, seemed like forever in those days, but I suppose it was around about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Anyway, when we got down our road, we had to cross over the main road, and we had a rule, it's a little rhyme, look to the left, look to the right, all is clear, then we can cross. Yeah, and so we get to this road, and my sis says to me, we can't cross yet. And I said, oh, come on, Chris, sis, we want to get there. And so she says, what's the rule? Look to the left, look to the right, look to the left again. If nothing's coming, then we can cross. Yeah, so we did. We crossed over. Yeah. Now, the shops there was a few shops there, so we wandered along to the shops, and the first shop was a grocery shop, vegetables, things like that, vegetables out front. And, someone said hi to us from within there, and I wasn't really paying attention because I knew that the lolly shop was just down there. And there was something more important that I knew that was just before the lolly shop. I knew there was the TV shop. Oh yeah, a shop with a TV, and so we goes along, and I get there and I'm looking in this TV, and it must have been around about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that, because the TV was showing I think it was Leave It to Beaver, an American show, you know, in an Australian city, town. and, and it was one of my favourite things to watch from the other side of the window, because we didn't have a TV at home, not in those days. You know, this is 1958, around about then. So everybody would go down, if they wanted to watch something, they'd go down and watch it there. So I was enraptured, you know, there was this show on TV and I wanted to watch it. And Sis says, we'll go to the lolly shop first, yeah, hey? And I said, oh, yeah, lollies, yeah. Yeah, I loved lollies, yeah, still do. Anyway. So I'm feeling really good up to now, really excited, you know, lollies and TV. And I says, oh, can we watch a little bit more TV before we go? She says, no, we'll go and get the lollies. Then we can watch a little bit on the way back, yeah? I says, okay, how much did Mum give you? Oh, she gave me a couple of pennies. That's enough to get us some lollies. So we went further on, and I think there was another shop, and then there was the lolly shop, and it was one of those lolly shops where all the lollies are in the window, and there were big jars and little jars. There were sherbets and so many different types of lollies just in the window. So we went inside, and I was just about jumping up and down with happiness. So we got in there and went over to the shopkeeper, and I can't remember his name, we'll call him Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, you know, served us, and yeah, I got my little bag, and it was a lot of lollies. You know, you got a lot of lollies for your money in those days, I can really tell you. So we each got a little bag of lollies, and so then it was time to go out. Sis paid, and we went out. And I rushed out and left her to do the paying and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to get back to the telly with my bag of lollies. So we get out, and I go down to the shop where the TV is there, and I look in, and it's still going. And I just stand there, my eyes glued to the TV set. Yeah, black and white. It wasn't colour. No such thing as colour in those days. Well, not for us anyway, not for the likes of us, as they say. So I'm staring and watching what's going on the TV, eating my lollies as we go. Yeah. I can almost picture it now. Anyway, I must have stood there 5-10 minutes, something like that, maybe longer. I don't know. I had no sense of time in those days. And the show finished. You know, the credits were rolling, and I'd finished my bag of lollies, and I looked around. And I says, "Hey sis, let's go now." She wasn't there. Oh, she wasn't there. Oh, I thought, maybe she's gone back into the shop. So I walked back to the lolly shop, and I looked in the door, opened the door, looked in. No, she wasn't there. Oh, okay. All right, so I came out, and I'm getting a little bit worried now, and I looked around. I looked all up and down the road, and there was no sign of Sis. She was nowhere to be seen. I'm getting very nervous. I ran to the next shop, the grocery shop, and I looked in there in case she'd gone in there and hadn't told me she had to get something from Mum, you know, milk or something. And I looked in, and nothing. And I could feel myself getting really panicking by this point, and I was trying to think, where could she be? And I called out, and I called, you know, Sis, where are you? And I couldn't find her. And so I went on a little bit further. I came to the corner, and I couldn't cross the road on my own. And I mean, I knew the rules, but I wasn't allowed to cross the road on my own. I had to cross it. And I remember at that time I was crying, and and tears were falling down my face, and I was basically bawling, and this suddenly there's a presence behind me, and I turn around thinking it might be Sister. No, it's a policeman, and I looked up at him. He asked me, what's wrong, and I said, I can't find my sister. Sis is gone, and the policeman looked down at me, and he took my hand, and he asked me, what's your name? I said, Ronnie, and he said, what's your sister's name? I told him, and he says, come with me. And I said, well, yeah, but where's Sis? And he says, come with me. He took me back to the police station with him, and I don't remember all the details, but I remember playing happily with a hot drink, probably hot cocoa or something like that, and playing on the typewriter, just clacky clacky, just it was a noise. It was something to do, and eventually a couple of policemen took me, found out where I lived, and asked me, I couldn't tell them, but it seemed that someone knew my mum, and so they took me and they went to our house, and it was dark outside by now, and when we got to the house, there were no lights on, and so they knocked on the door, and there was no answer. And I don't know how, somehow or other they got into the house and it was empty. They'd gone. Mum and Sis had gone. So how do I feel about that? For many years I felt absolutely pissed off and angry.